Hey gang, I got an offer for you today from LinkedIn. As business-to-business marketers, your needs are unique. B2B buying cycles are long and your customers face incredibly complex decisions. Isn't it time you had a marketing platform built specifically for you? LinkedIn ads empower marketers with solutions for you and your customers. LinkedIn ads allow you to build the right relationships, drive results, and reach your customers in a respectful environment. On LinkedIn, you have direct access to build relationships with decision makers. Of the 875 million users on the network, 180 million are senior level executives. 10 million are C-level executives. You will also be able to drive results with targeting and measuring with their tools built specifically for B2B. And best of all, they work. Audiences exposed to brand messages on LinkedIn are 6 times more likely to convert. LinkedIn ads also rank number 1 for security, community, and ad experience as part of the Business Insider's Digital Trust Study. Make B2B marketing everything it can be and get a $100 credit. It's a $100 credit on your next campaign. Go to linkedin.com/MPN to claim your credit. It's linkedin.com/MPN. Terms and conditions apply. Entrepreneurs Enigma is a podcast for the ups and downs of entrepreneurship. So the wins and the fails that we all face being entrepreneurs, how we learn from adversity. Every week I talk to a different entrepreneur with a story to tell. I'm Seth Goldstein. Come with me on the journey. This is Entrepreneurs Enigma. Let's get started. Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of the Entrepreneurs Enigma podcast. This is actually going to be a bonus episode. There was already one earlier with Joe Crandall this week, and we're going to have one with Jamie Sewell, which is going to be Friday. We're recording this on a Wednesday. It's going to come out Friday, and we're going to have Jamie talk about being healthy as an entrepreneur. Now, Jamie, you might say, well, who's Jamie to tell me how to be healthy as an entrepreneur? Jamie is a wellness coach. Is that correct, Jamie? A wellness coach?
Yeah. Yoga instructor, mindset master in the making. Yeah.
There you go. Exactly. Yeah, I know Jamie from the Peak community, which is a community of marketers and like-minded individuals online. So Jamie, welcome. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks so much for having me, Seth. This is so fun. I mean,
this is fun. Yeah. Exactly. So Jamie, tell us a little bit about your background. Like, how did you get into the health and wellness field?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I actually would say that I was a chronically stressed employee and really didn't know it. I definitely skew a little type A anyway. And my background's in marketing and sales, primarily in the IoT technology space. And so not health and wellness at all. And, like many of us during COVID, I had the opportunity to kind of reassess, my life and what I actually cared about. And chose to start to combine my sales and marketing background with health and wellness. And so that's been kind of my journey. But I didn't start off as a super healthy individual. I actually had a ton of chronic conditions.
Oh, no.
Very much stuck in the healthcare system. So I actually now work for a proactive health insurance company that helps empower people with their health through functional medicine.
Yeah.
So I'm just starting to kind of blend, my past experience with my passions. So
that's fun.
Yeah, it really has been fun.
Yeah, and so you have your day job where you're working for the insurance company to help people be more healthy and well, and which is good for the insurance company because then you don't have to worry about you being sick all the time, and some insurance companies are better than others at encouraging people to be healthy because, they have to realize that if you're healthy, you're cheaper.
You're exactly right. You can kind of think about it like good driver discount, right? Where really we should, if you're a good driver, your rates are going to be lower. But in health insurance, it doesn't really work that way for the most part.
No, it's weird.
Right? Well, it's because they don't know what lies under the surface. And so, the health insurance company that I work for has a really unique model that allows them to target the risk for
Mm.
people who are not healthy, and then connect them with tools and health coaches and things like that, to help them actually be empowered to take control over their own health.
I
Because
love that.
what I
That's
believe
awesome.
is people are not stupid. We're all very smart, and that goes for anybody, living with chronic health conditions. And so it's really
Yeah.
just starting to have access to the information so that you can make the changes in your own life.
Yeah. Entrepreneurship is a weird thing because you have to be somewhat crazy, number one, because I mean, it's the ultimate from coming from a sales and marketing background as I do. And there's nothing, I mean, salespeople are like some salespeople are commission only, but even then they have a draw sometimes to pull from. When you're an entrepreneur, it's the ultimate amount of commission because there's
Mhm.
no safety net. You either make it or you break it. People are like saying, I have to work, I have to work, I have to work to make the money. So what's your advice to entrepreneurs to focus on their health and their business at the same time?
Yeah, it's a good question. And I've thought about this in four different buckets. And
Okay.
to start off, people really are like a soup of hormones. So that's like truly um, what we are at our like basic level. And our hormones really drive all of our instincts and preferences and behaviors and things like that. So if you think about like we spend time learning how to drive a car, but
Yeah.
in school, nobody really teaches us, well, how do you drive your physiology? How do you make your physiology work for you? And so we, right out of the gate, I think, feel a little bit disempowered a lot of times with our health. And so what happens over time is we pick up beliefs about weight, about food, about our health. And we don't even know that we have these beliefs. And so with entrepreneurs, a lot of times it's like, oh, well, I don't have time to sleep. I don't have time to exercise. I don't have time to work out. I'll do it later. I've got to make the money right now. And so what happens is we start to see a lot of the beliefs, the subconscious beliefs that we don't even
Mhm.
realize are kind of in our subconscious play out in our lives. And so that
Mhm.
can be, like said, in the form of food habits, sleep habits, exercise habits. And so the four buckets that I like to think about are mindset, actually, first, and then exercise, by food, and sleep. So, that some of the things I might say are not necessarily so different from what somebody else would say. Again, we're all smart people. We know how to use Google.
Mhm.
But it really comes down to those four buckets. But I think it really starts with uncovering our beliefs about food, being healthy, and how that correlates with being an entrepreneur. When I was thinking about this, it's like, man, you really have to drive your physiology to get your hormones to really work for you because, some food is going to impact your cognition in a poor way.
It's like garbage in, garbage out, that's like a very bit much of a cliche, but if you eat like crap, you're gonna feel like crap, which is then gonna make you not be able to concentrate, and it's spiral.
Yeah. So it really starts with developing just some healthy habits. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs are very driven and
Mhm.
maybe like max out on things, right?
Mhm.
So maybe for a season, we max out on the Peloton and we max out at work and then we burn out, right? And so it
That's
ends up
true.
being like this yo yo thing
Yeah.
where I think, yeah, especially depending on the season in your life and where your business is, it comes down to what's realistic for me and create like micro habits to set yourself up for success, kind of prime the pump and use things like habit stacking so that you
Mhm.
can get a little bit better at a time instead of trying to go 120% with your nutrition and your exercise. It's not sustainable. So I think a lot of this really does start with habits, healthy habits, and mindset. And I want to tell you one example of why mindset is so important. So there was a study that was done. You can look this up on NPR. And essentially, it's a milkshake study. A researcher was looking into the effect of labels on
Mm.
people's mindsets and if it had any impact on their physiology and their hormones. And
I
so
bet it does.
this researcher made a big batch of milkshakes and they labeled half the milkshakes as low fat and healthy, and had one label for it. And then the other set of milkshakes they labeled indulgent and high fat. And actually, what happened was that there's a hunger hormone called ghrelin,
Mm.
and the group of people who drank the indulgent milkshake had more variability in their ghrelin hormone, and it was reduced by 3 times as much as the low fat group. So basically, people were felt more satiated. They drank this indulgent milkshake, and so they felt more satiated and fulfilled by it. And so, as a
Wow.
result, with their hormone levels dropping, their metabolism kicked up. And so they ended up having a much higher metabolism response rate to burn off that indulgent milkshake. They also weren't as hungry as quickly, because they believed
But
that,
keep in mind, it's the same batch.
yeah,
Wow.
they believed that they had consumed more, and so their body responded in kind. And so I say that to help us bring perspective with mindset and the things that we tell ourselves. A lot of times, especially if there's weight issues and things like that, we think of food in a restrictive sort of way, and we try to deprive ourselves and things like that. But what happens if we can kind of reframe our mindset and get really excited about like the flavors of the food,
Mhm.
whether it's low calorie or not, and start to truly feel indulgent with
Mhm.
what we're eating. So it truly drives your hormones.
We're going to take a quick break, hear from our sponsors, and get right back to the show.
Hey there, it's Jason Falls. If your company or maybe one of your clients sells to marketers, you look for advertising channels that guarantee business marketers are paying attention, right? Let me introduce you to the Marketing Podcast Network. You're listening to it right now. It's a network of podcasts all about marketing. So 100% of MPN's audience are marketers. Reach them by advertising on the Marketing Podcast Network. Learn more and find our media kit at marketingpodcasts.net.
It's amazing. I love my sweets, and love being indulgent a little too much. And I look at my mom, and I'm thinking about my mom right now. 'Cause I'm in her house in Vermont, and it's rabbit food everywhere. But
Mhm.
her mindset is so different from mine that she's like, "Oh, I had this flaxseed," which don't get me started on flaxseed. Can't go near that stuff. But seriously, can't get near that stuff. But she's like, "This thing with all these greens and stuff. Oh my god, I'm so stuffed." And I look at that and I'm like, "No wonder you're so skinny. You don't eat anything." But then she's like, but she's healthy as an ox.
Yeah.
It is a mindset thing. But it's totally about like how you look at things. Like if she enjoys a rabbit food and loves the nuttiness of this. I mean, what's this? Ezekiel,
Oh,
whatever
the
the heck it is.
well bread. Uh-huh. Yep.
Oh my god, that stuff looks like
Uh,
it'll stop you up.
it's
Oh
good.
my god, but she loves that stuff, and she's like, "Oh, it's so filling and so delicious." And I'm like, "I keep telling yourself that."
Yeah.
I'm like, but for her, it's fantastic.
Well, it's like there's a belief, right? About, oh, well, healthy food maybe doesn't taste good. Give me the pizza, give me the subs, whatever, because
Oh
that
god, that
tastes
sounds good
good.
right now.
And so our brain gets wired to be seeking what it believes as pleasure seeking. And so
Yeah.
we end up with like these feedback loops. Which is
Sugar is a
why,
bad thing. Yeah.
yeah, and so a lot of our immune system and cognition, intuition is really all coming from our gut. And so
Mhm.
95,
Literally, not
yeah,
literally gut, not
right.
our, like,
Yeah,
not our metaphysical gut, but
yeah,
our literally the gut.
yeah. And so 95% of our serotonin levels are produced in our gut.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
yeah. And so
So not the brain,
not
the
the
gut.
body. So serotonin is responsible for happiness,
Mhm.
contentment, peace, lower anxiety.
All through the belly, all through the belly. Oh, that's not good. Whoever
Yeah.
wired humans up made a mistake there.
Yeah, and so if you really start to study the gut is called the microbiome, what you'll find is they'll actually allege that the gut is actually driving your decisions and not your brain because
I can vouch for that. No,
it's
I can vouch for
well,
that. Like, if I'm hungry, I'm hungry, and get the heck out of my way.
yeah. So, you think about like, okay, if you're like have a poor diet, right? What is that doing to your serotonin levels? Which impacts your brain levels, which impacts your sugar levels and your insulin resistance and your nervous system and all of the organs in your body. It's also commingled. So,
That's amazing.
one,
And then you think with your psyche too.
yeah,
I'm sure it's yeah, like the whole like everything seems like the subconscious is so evil. It's like it's always trying to undermine you and say like, "Oh, have that cookie." You have to fight your subconscious so you stay healthy.
yeah, a lot of it really does come from the subconscious. It's unconscious choices that we make based off of
Wow.
beliefs. We
Awesome.
do have to have awareness about that, and then we can choose, make new choices. Well, and
Mhm.
again, it doesn't have to be big things, when it comes to eating. Well, I know, especially for entrepreneurs, we might skip meals.
Yeah, that's not
Um,
a good thing.
yeah, a lot of health really is about moderating our blood sugar levels
Mhm.
so when we skip meals and things like that, when we eat
Yeah.
quickly, got a poor diet, all of these things end up driving up our sugar levels. And so one
Mm.
really stupid simple thing to do is what's called mindful eating.
I
And
know.
but you literally have to, it kind of goes back to the mindset thing. I a lot of times will go outside. So I'm in Florida, right? So I'll go and sit in the grass and eat my lunch.
Oh,
You know,
watch out for those fire ants.
I don't have any here, but
Oh,
you're
man.
right. Yeah, I would want to watch out for the pirates. Um, and so I literally will go outside, get sunshine, and step away from my devices. Even you feel like you sometimes
Mm.
don't have time to do that, but at,
Make time.
at the same time, it's important to breathe.
Mhm.
S-
I don't do
yes,
enough of that.
and it's important to just take the 10 minutes and go outside and eat some.
Sounds great. I probably won't do that tomorrow because right now I'm in Vermont
Yeah.
and it's gonna be 20 degrees out. I will not eat my lunch in 20-degree snowstorm. When I get back down to Philadelphia, I do try and eat my lunch in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Just change up the scenery a little bit,
Yeah.
even for just 5 minutes, because I'm known for eating really fast. So slowing it down and all that good stuff. It's hard. I can say as an entrepreneur, it's hard to peel yourself away, even for 5 minutes. Like that person can wait 5 minutes while you get lunch,
Yeah.
or schedule a lunch break on your calendar, even.
Absolutely. We actually get addicted to stress hormones. So it goes back to I told you we're like a soup of hormones. So
Yeah.
our bodies actually become addicted to hormones. So namely cortisol and adrenaline. And
Hmm.
so our brains are kind of looking for that fix. And so it can feel more exciting to scarf down your food and be like, and you feel super productive because you're like emailing and scarfing food down, not realizing that
You're gonna crash. Yeah.
yeah. And so your body gets used to having those elevated hormone levels. And so
Wow.
it, it's not being properly balanced out with DHEA and more restorative hormones.
So what's the solution, Jamie? What's the solution?
Well, so a lot of it is just mindfulness.
Yeah.
It's being intentional about, okay, I have so much time. So, what are my priorities? And just making sure that you're getting some vigorous exercise, you're getting your heart rate up, even if it's for 5-10 minutes. I think a lot of
Hmm.
times people are like, oh, 5-10 minutes, like, oh, that's not going to do anything, you
You'd be
know?
surprised, especially if you're out of shape. 10 minutes in the treadmill, I can vouch for this because I'm getting back into it. 10 minutes? That's good. I'm good with that. And
Yeah.
I'll move up to 15 as I get 10 feels like it's not enough. All right. Oh, 10 wasn't that bad. All right, go do another 5 till it's enough,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah, and so it's being intentional with your time, and then that helps your sleep, right? So if there's 4 buckets, so mindset, exercise, food and sleep,
Mhm.
a lot of times people say, oh, I have trouble sleeping, which also produces challenges with helping your body to restore overnight.
Mhm. It's
And
all connected, yeah.
yeah, and so a lot of times there's stress hormones that are still kind of floating around from your really busy day, and you've got all these things, flooding in your mind. And so burning it off through exercise is really helpful because then your body's tired. You've had a long
Yeah.
day at work, and then you went to the gym and you exercised, and then your body can kind of relax. That was actually so exercise was so important to me that I actually started getting up at 5:30 in the morning and doing my exercise first because it was so important.
I hear that works. The
Yeah.
exercising first, it helps with focus, and I'm like, I can't imagine the morning. I used to get up at 5:30, sit down, relax, have breakfast, and then go work on the computer a little bit. I could never do it. Like, my brain's just like, oh,
Well, Seth, you are perfectly capable of anything you
I
put
know.
your mind to. So it
Oh,
goes back to those beliefs.
it's back to
It's
those
like
beliefs, exactly.
so like I can't. So replace like I can't with I won't.
Well, it's pretty much as I won't, yeah. Yeah.
Putting you on
I'll
blast.
I'll give you yeah, that's true. I won't.
Yeah, so that made a big difference for me because my workout routine and prioritize it because what I found was when I would work out after work, then I've got all these client emails, I've got all these things floating
Yeah.
around that I'm like,
Always something else to do, yeah.
and then I'm tired. And so it was like it became important enough for me to have that consistency that that came first and then everything else came after that. So it made a huge difference. But it made a huge difference with my sleep too.
I
Because
bet.
then I'm tired, right? So then you work all day. And then you're ready to go to bed.
Yeah, so what do you suggest on night sleep time? 8 hours? 6 hours? Like, 'cause everyone
Well,
jumps all around. Everyone jumps
yeah,
around. Some people are like, get less, some get more. It's like,
yeah, so I find that you've got to like listen to your own body's rhythm and do what is good for your body. I think that,
that's awesome.
yeah, I think all of that is super important. And so I think it's just, again, taking it back to like, what's your priorities, giving yourself also some accountability. So
Mm.
for me to get up in the morning, I've got to go to yoga class. Like I have to leave my house.
Yeah, that makes sense. Different location.
Yeah. And so like, it might be you give yourself whatever, like you make a chart. So if you're like, okay, I'm gonna give myself a green star if I eat a salad and some veggies today, and I'm gonna give myself a star for going to bed, by 11, and I'm gonna give my star for going to the gym.
The
Um,
small things that people are probably sitting there thinking, "Oh my god, a chart? What am I, 6?" I
yeah,
guess
or a
they
month,
work. It's visual,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know if we ever totally outgrow charts because you can make it fun. So
Yeah.
you can gamify it, you can do your own variation, but it doesn't have to be something really crazy.
Yeah,
That's
or it can if that's what your cup of tea is.
yeah, and so then it's like maybe you give yourself a reward at the end of the week, right? Take yourself to
Yeah.
dinner or something.
So what's your favorite habit app or your best health app would be good for entrepreneurs?
That is a good question. So many apps out there. So I really like meditation and also therapy called tapping, emotional freedom technique.
I tried that and never got into that. Meditation, I love,
Yeah.
mainly because about 50% of the time it turns into a nap, which I apparently need at that moment.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. There's no wasted meditation.
there
Um,
isn't.
so I find that a lot of people just don't breathe properly. They just literally, when you're go, 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 you're on Zooms all the time. You're just not breathing fully. So there's an app called Breathe Plus. It's free. And so you can customize the settings and it has like a
Ooh.
nice, very peaceful like wave to it. And so you can just watch the wave go up and down. It's kind of mesmerizing and you just breathe
Ooh.
to it. And so you can so it has a timer in there. So you can set it for like, 3 minutes. You've got 3 minutes, just do it for 3 minutes, whatever. So I really like that one. And then I also like the tapping solution, which is an app. So there's a paid and a free version. of that. And so when we wake up, stress hormones are part of what wake us up. So that's why,
Which is
exercise.
probably ancestral. You have to go up and go work on the farm. You have to get the eggs.
Yeah. So stress hormones wake us up. And so it's important to rebalance those hormones first thing in the morning. And so that's why a lot of people like exercise in the morning. But tapping also helps to rebalance those hormones first thing in the morning. And so a tapping meditation is 8 minutes. We have 8
Wow,
minutes,
that's doable.
you know?
Yeah.
And so those are 2 that I like.
So Jamie, where can people find out more about you, what you do? You can give a plug to your the company you work for. Like you can do anything. Where can people find more about Jamie?
Yeah. So probably the easiest place to find me is on LinkedIn. So
Typical marketer.
Sewell. So very easy. And then I do have a blog, insideoutliving.io.
Mhm.
Yeah. Try to keep it simple. So yeah, those are the easiest places.
Awesome. Sounds good. Well, Jamie, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks so much for having me, Seth.
That was a great show. Hey, if you're enjoying Entrepreneurs Enigma, please give us a review on the podcast directory of your choice. We're on all of them. And these reviews really help others find the show. Also, if you're getting value from the show and want to buy me a coffee, go to the show notes and click on the link to help me stay awake while I bring you more great episodes to your ears. That's in the show notes, and I look forward to the next episode. Take care, guys. This podcast is one of the many great shows on the MPN Marketing Podcast Network. Goldstein Media hopes you have enjoyed this episode.
You may know you're listening to this show along the Marketing Podcast Network, but did you know there are other great shows on MPN to help your business? T. Adeola hosts a great podcast called Tiny Giants. T, tell us what these fine folks will get out of listening.
We are the creator economy show that's about careers, not celebrity. Right? So who should listen to this show are the parents of young people who want to know more about the creator economy and why that's a career path for their children, or the young people themselves.
Amazing. Where can the young people or the parents subscribe?
You can find us at tinygiants.tech or wherever you get these podcasts, these fine podcasts. And you can also find us at the Marketing Podcast Network, which is marketingpodcast.net.
You heard him. Go subscribe.
This podcast is heard along the Marketing Podcast Network. For more great marketing podcasts, visit marketingpodcasts.net.